You want to get in on the latest cinematic craze, Tiffin Black Pro Mist? Is this more cinematic or what? Alright, in this video I'm going to go over 2 ways to make a do-it-yourself Tiffin Black Pro Mist filter. The first way I have is using a stocking, which you can hardly tell here, but there's actually a stocking here. And I'm going to show you how to create a nice clean looking filter like this. And the second way I have is just a regular spray paint. Yes, I use matte black spray paint, and I'll just go over briefly how to create that with a normal filter and why you should use a high quality filter rather than just a piece of junk glass. Let's get into this. All right, first off is a low cost method. We're just using some panty hose from the Dollar Tree. I would advise against getting like knee-high tights or some other type of sock variation, just because you need this fine material. It has to be fine like this. If you have wider material, wider type of mesh, there's a very good chance that if you stop down to, let's say, f5.6 or even beyond that, you'll get some streaking in your images, and you don't want that to happen. So first, what I have is let's say I want to adapt it to a 67mm filter. I have a step-up ring. This is a 67-72 and then a 72 to 77 step-up ring. And the goal is to put the pantyhose right here and then screw it into place. That way there is no glass, okay? So there's no glass in between here. It's completely hollow. And the advantage of that is that you're not going to have any glare or reflections. And that can be a problem with any brand of filter. And I'll go on to that with the next project. But first, let's go over this pantyhose filter. Okay, before you do anything, you need to know where the threads sit. Otherwise, you'll end up ripping the pantyhose. I'm gonna find where the threading sits. The very beginning of it. There it is, okay? Actually, no, it's not. It's right around there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I have to get a marking somehow. So I marked it right here and right here, so that when I put the pantyhose together, I just press it in and then I could start threading right away, because these are cheap metal rings and they don't work very well. It would be better if you use brass, but I just don't have any. Okay, so now that's ready, it's prepped. We're gonna find a good area to work with. This looks good. So you wrap your ring, give it some pressure, not too much or it'll start ripping, and then start twisting it so it doesn't unravel. Okay, here's my marking. Here's the other marking right here. Line them up, hold, press it down. There we go. And that's it, we're done. Now to just trim away. See, I expanded it too much, a little bit too much, so it ripped right here. It ripped a little bit right here. And that's why you have to use pantyhose, otherwise it's not strong enough. And this thing will probably show up at smaller apertures, but for the sake of this tutorial video, you have a stocking filter that is glass free. There is no glass involved. And all it took was just 2 step-up rings, and now I can screw this onto a 67mm filter thread and you're ready to go. All right, now we'll go over the spray paint method. And what you want to do is get spray paint on the inside of the lens filter. And what you're gonna do is shake up your bottle of paint, spray it in the air, and come down onto the paint while it's falling down. The reason is that you don't want to spray directly onto it, or you don't want to go too fast into the fog of air and get big particulates on the filter. You want a really fine mist. It's kind of hard to see, but it's just a really fine mist that sits onto your filter. It just from the video it looks like a dirty filter, but it's a really fine mist. And the good thing about this is that if you use a high quality filter, like I'm using this black and white B&W filter, and this thing does not have any glaring issues or glaring problems or internal reflections. And if you're using a really low-end filter, there's a good chance that you'll get this internal reflection, and it just really damages the image quality if lights are in the scene. So that's one thing that you want to notice. And before you get too concerned about using paint, this thing comes apart really easy. You may take 1 or 2 of these lens cleanings. These are Zeiss wipes, and you can take it to the paint and it comes right off, even like many days after. For the testing, I have this item that I actually use, and what happened is that I'm putting this in my pocket, you know, like a dump, and I just didn't really take care of it really well. And what happened was that the paint started to scratch against the abrasions in my pocket, and it would create a pattern. It was just no good, so I ruined my filter. It doesn't stay that good even though I'm using like a high heat matte black paint. It just doesn't really stay very well. Of course, if it's on your lens, it's not a problem, because one thing I should let you know is that every time you spray and you come down, you should rotate it just a little bit. Spray, come down, rotate it a little bit, because you might not get it all evenly on your filter. That's just how it happens. So just spray and rotate, spray and rotate. It took me 6 times to get this type of look, as you can see here. It's not a very heavy look. It's probably equivalent to like a Pro Mist 1/8, and that's what I was looking for. No filter. This is with the spray stocking. All right, no filter at all. Fake black mist. Stocking. Alright, backlit scenario, no filter. Do-it-yourself filter. Pantyhose. So here's some samples of me just actually using this. Maybe it's a fad, maybe it's not. Either way, these are two inexpensive ways to make yourself a Tiffin Black Pro Mist filter at varying strengths. I think these are great non-permanent solutions, and if you don't like it, simply wipe it off, or if you want a stronger version, simply spray more onto it. Or if you're using the stocking version, just don't make it so tight, loosen it up a little bit, and you can have an even stronger effect. Just keep in mind that if you make it too strong, it may affect your autofocus. So if you learned anything or found this video entertaining, smash the like button, and I hope to see you on the next video. Check out my other videos here and here. See you later.